did. Come on. Okay, we're going to try this and see what we get, guys. One sec while I pull up YouTube so I get comments here. Sorry, I'm a bit late here. Okay. Dustin! And Critical Strike, thanks for being here. You hear clicking? Yes, you do, Nurse Ruben. Good to see you guys here. So we are, I think, kind of live. I'm trying a new service thing and it wasn't working real well. And I also wanted to get the video out to everyone. It looks like I couldn't really do Facebook because it wouldn't let me. But hopefully the next time it will all be set up for Facebook. So, hey Aisha, good to see you. And good to see you, Matt. Thanks for being here. Hey, Dustin. Hi, Baltimore fan. Hi, Viper MX. Pleased to meet you too. Thanks for stopping by. Hi, Mike. So I'm guessing a lot of you guys know, but I'm Byron with Diemension Games, and from Deep Madness, a rule book. Oh, that's cool. Well, hey, good for you, Chaco. And welcome. Hi, Soda Pop Gamer. Okay, well, so since I couldn't get this on Facebook, just one quick second while I... Well, thanks, Steven. Appreciate that. 1 second here while I get it on... while I get this on Facebook. Just a shared link here. Shows game stuff. I will do my best. So, what sort of stuff do you guys want to see? I normally have basically no agenda for these things. Huh. That is interesting, Chaco. I don't know. Did you have like... Oh! I bet it's Shattered Seas. I bet you it's Shattered Seas. Because those are supposed to be going out really soon. So that would be my guess as to what that might be. Hi from Scotland. Man, welcome, Chris. That's great. Hi, Critical Strike. Yeah, so that's funny that you say that about not knowing what to expect, because I don't either. Like I was kind of saying there, I don't normally have like a script thing for these things or any real like agenda or anything. I just kind of stop by and see what, you guys want to talk about. So okay, so Facebook. I have not seen the video yet, Nurse Ruben. I have not. So unfortunately, I can't really comment on that. Oh, wait, am I live? No, it says I was live. Okay, so it lies. Okay. Uh-oh. Hi, Russ. Good to see you, man. Just saw your comment there. Dom is going well. So for those who are just Twisted Fables fans, Dawn of Madness is another game we're working on, and it is going well. So we should have hopefully more info for you guys soon, and so forth. So let's see here. So got that on Diemension. Just watching the forward to Dawn of Madness. Nice. Okay, almost there, guys, and then we can just get into this. Sorry once again for the delays here. I thought I had this all worked out. I was so close to having this all worked out. Okay, I think we're good. So let's... do we have a website that shows any other games we do? So, Chris, we actually have, so you can buy. Well, okay, so we have a website. We're just starting it up. It's only like halfway there so far. But here, it's just dimensiongames.com. And it is really rough so far. Like, all that's really on there is a sign up for a for a email list, but you can check it out right there. Okay, so let's see here. I'm sure I've missed some. Love to see minis. I will show you minis, Timmy. You bet. Oh, greetings from Germany. Hi, Let's good to see ya. What is the mat? How? Okay, so Baltimore fan asks, how is the mat pulling going? So, oh, they just sent me updated numbers on that. One sec. Where is that? Okay, and I'll have this in our next update. But so far, we've got Little Mermaid at 298, Sleeping Beauty at 285, Alice at 204, Snow White at 200, it looks like. Now, wait, is this the newest one? Let's make sure this is the newest one. I think this is wrong. One sec. This is wrong. I was looking at the wrong one, guys. False information. I might need a bigger beard. I have a tendency of shaving it off every time it gets a little bit too long, so I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll see. Okay, so let's see. Sorry, guys, just catching up on some comments here. So, I'm hoping Twisted Fables will get more girls to the games table once we can get game with strangers again. You know, Joe, I think that would be awesome. I think that would be so cool if we could get some more girls playing games and board games and that sort of stuff. So yeah, that would be fantastic. I love Deep Madness. Thank you, Banana. I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoy Deep Madness. As you can see, I have some Deep Madness right over here. We're halfway there. Okay. Let's see here. If you're looking for a store, they have some Deep Madness stuff. Oh, Joe, do you have a place with some Deep Madness stuff? If you do, feel free to throw the link down. We will have another reprint for Deep Madness at some point here, but it hasn't happened yet. So that'll probably be like early next year would be my guess at this point. Oh, speaking of, I see Banana says, do you plan on making another Deep Madness? So that could actually go a couple of ways. You could either be talking about another reprint, or you could be talking about another Deep Madness game. The answer to both is yes. Okay. Oh, leaders for playmat voting. I got distracted. That happens. Anyone who has been in the streams before will tell you that this happens a lot. In fact, I'm fairly certain we had started a meme about squirrels. Okay, so let's see here. So it looks like Little Mermaid has 380, Sleeping Beauty has 368, Snow White has 271, Alice has 265. Mulan has 260. Dorothy has 160. Kaguya has 137. Match Girl has 115. And Scheherazade is still back there at 75. Poor Scheherazade. I have a feeling that's going to change after the next update. And I also have a feeling that these numbers have changed since the Dorothy update. I don't think that these take that into account. But anyways, super, I'll go ahead. Okay. Oh, okay, so Russ. So just saw your comment here. We're halfway there. Living on a knife's edge and hoping Byron wants to write another book soon. Of course I want to write another book soon. I'm a writer. And everyone, just by the way, for anyone who's looking forward to Shattered Seas, we all owe Russ a debt of gratitude because he was the test reader for the book and he gave some enormous feedback for it and really changed it for the better. So everyone, round of applause for Russ. Yay! Thanks, Russ. You're amazing. Hey, from France. Good to see you, Labe. That's fantastic. Sorry for not looking at the camera here, guys. I just want to make sure I get as many of your questions as I possibly can. And if I miss you, feel free to drop it again because I am not in the habit of missing folks. Hi from Latvia. Whoa. Well, welcome, Viper. That's great. Back to the reprint and still haven't played DM yet. Carrie, you really need to get on that. Marquis, good to see you. Good to see you, man. Yes. So Russ has a point here. It's part of a game he started a long time ago. How can we distract Byron during live streams? Yep, that's it. That's exactly it. Poor Alice. Well, I mean, there's still a chance, guys. She could still pull us out. I mean, there's a whole group of people up in third place, so that is anyone's guess as to who's going to get that. So, I mean, she's barely behind Snow White. So, that could still totally happen. So, yes, vote Alice if you want Alice. Morrow, you really need to get on that. But thanks for backing the game and thanks for being here with us today. So Lutz asks, I missed the Monstrum box. Is it still possible to get it? It is not currently, Lutz, but stay tuned for the third printing because hopefully we should have more of that, more of those available during the next reprint. Any plan on a large deluxe mat with the art in the middle of all the girls and just 2 generic player setup areas or something? That would interest me more than individual mats. It's an interesting idea, Critical Strike. I don't know that anyone has brought that up before. I don't know that it would be possible, but maybe. That would be interesting. That would be something to look into. So, good suggestion there. Thanks, Russ. Appreciate that. And you can believe that you're going to get it. Need a giant table. Yes, you do, Carrie. That is very true. Deep Madness does require a lot of space. I won't disagree with you on that one. Is it possible to reserve Dawn of Madness and Twisted Fable signed? That's kind of a tough one there, Joaquin. We did do some signatures we're doing some signatures for the Shattered Seas book, but that's just a book. It's like this big. So that would be a little bit tougher to ship everyone's games around to get them signed by folks. Though, actually, a lot of the team, like game designers and stuff, are in one location. I'm kind of the outlier, so probably not, but you never know. Glad you like the look at Twisted Fables there, Carrie. Oh, Faisal, good to see you. Welcome, my friend. After the game comes out, will you keep updating it and getting more stuff out for it? So I don't know which game we're talking about, Old Bearded Sailor. Maybe we should put which game we're talking about in comments because there are several choices there. But I'm going to guess you're talking about Twisted Fables. If you're talking about Twisted Fables, the answer is we have some stuff that we're already looking at in the pipeline. So it'll just depend a little bit on, the response to Twisted Fables, if people want more. As of right now, I think that it's a pretty good bet that we probably will have more stuff. So we've already got a couple more Fables in mind. And they're pretty cool. And then we're also throwing around a couple of other ideas. I know a lot of people have wanted like a solo expansion for Twisted Fables, so we're trying to figure that out, and some other stuff there too. So yes, there's definitely stuff that we are definitely looking at for the future of Twisted Fables. Oh, okay, so Ryan, this is a great question. Any way to get more of the characters in the TTS mod to try them out? Yes, there is, Ryan. So we kind of did the initial just demo just to get that out to people. But I just completely lost my train of thought. Sorry, once again, squirrel. We did the initial demo just to get it out to people, test the waters, see if people liked it, see if people were using it. And now we have the guy who made it, Ken. He's a fantastic guy and doing a fantastic job. We're having him put in all of the core Fables, and then we'll work out from there probably into the expansion Fables. So yes, you will get more in the TTS mod. That has, I think, been a success so far, so we're going to keep working on that. See you soon, Marquis. Oh, great, Mike. I hope you've been enjoying it. Just seeing your comment here about demoing it on TTS. So I hope you've been enjoying that game. Like I said, we'll be adding a lot more Fables here shortly. So as soon as Ken can get those finished up for you guys. The rule books are okay. I'm not sure what that's referring to, Joaquin, and I'm sorry if I missed a previous comment. Okay, so Nurse Ruben asks, what inspired you to make the game Twisted Fables? So Twisted Fables actually started out of house. At that point, it was a D&D flavored game, and so they approached the team and said, hey, you want to publish this? And we were like, sure, we'll publish this. So then we completely reskinned it and decided to go with the, fairy tale route, and that was really spearheaded by Roger and Cherry. And then we just kind of fleshed it out from there. So yeah, I guess that's not really like a eureka moment or anything like that, but there you go. That's kind of Twisted Fable story in a nutshell, as exciting as it is. Do you think that at this current stage Deep Madness rules are streamlined enough, or you think you may be making updates next year? That's a good question, Chaco. I don't know that for one way or another, really. So I doubt that we would make many changes to the core rule set, but it's always possible that we would add more into it. So like one thing I would really like to see, and I was actually talking about this with the team since the last reprint, was really pushing for it, but we didn't quite get it out, is a big deluxe hardcover rule book that has all the scenarios in it. It has all the, all the stuff in it. So that would be something I would really like to see, and it's certainly possible we could have extra mods in it and that sort of thing. As far as streamlining the actual rules, I'm sure we would be up for talking with people about that and seeing what they wanted and that sort of thing. But who knows? Who knows? Okay. Oh, Michael, so this is a good question. I'm not going to purchase because I don't play physical games in person, but I'd like to back and play on TTS. What would you suggest a back amount for digital only players? Whatever you want, Michael. So, I mean, we wouldn't really have any rewards necessarily in the campaign for that, because I mean the TTS mod is free. But if you wanted to support us, we would really appreciate it. So, um, whatever you feel like doing is great. Um, and I mean, it might be that we would have like, uh, yeah, that chances are that's probably the way to go. Like, if you wanted to, um, you could just go for the full. It really depends how much you want to just put in. It's entirely up to you. But you would probably want to use um, just use like one of the dollar options or something like that if you don't want the actual game. So, but once again, thank you for your support. We appreciate it. Um, is there a way to get the art book if we don't reach the goal? Says Marcel. I think we're going to make the goal. So I know we've got a long ways to go, but we've also got the final 2-day push. So in that final 2-day push, there's a lot of potential backers that could flood in. So I kind of suspect that we'll hit the goal for the art book. Um, but we'll see. And if it doesn't happen, I suspect if it doesn't happen, what we'll probably do, and I haven't talked about this with the team, so take this with a grain of salt. This is entirely just me talking right now. But I suspect what we would do is we would just keep working towards it in the Pledge Manager. So I suspect that at some point we would unlock that art book. Now, I know some people have said that they wanted to maybe buy it if they weren't wanting to get the deluxe, and I haven't talked with the team about that yet. That would require making it a separate item. I don't know that they want to do that. They're probably just wanting to bundle it with the deluxe edition, which is why it was set as a stretch goal like that. But we'll see. If enough people want it outside of the deluxe pledge, it's something we maybe could discuss. But like the minis and that sort of thing, those haven't even really had their own pack or anything. They're just being packaged in with the deluxe at this point. So we'll see. In the future, those minis might be separate. I know that that's something a lot of people have asked for, and the art book might be too. So we'll see. Good question. Idea for expansion for Twisted Fables: epic versions of Fable miniatures like Dom malformations. So funny you should mention that, Board Hoarder. We're thinking of something like that. So like we really liked the art for the Red Riding Hood player mat, so we're considering making that into a mini. Like no promises. This is just talking. Jodor, welcome, my friend. Sorry. Once again, squirrel. So yeah, it's something that we are definitely considering, and there's a couple different options that are on the table. They'll definitely be larger, I'm sure, than the current ones. There might be an assembled pre-painted kind of statue option, and then a do-it-yourself, you paint it, you assemble it kit type thing. But once again, I can't make any promises at this point. That's just strictly, kind of what we were throwing around. So that's very rough ideas. So I can't promise that, but it's definitely an option there. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Right, I'm glad you're impatient to play the game in all forms. That's good. Means you're excited for it, and I'm glad you're excited for it. Backed Twisted Fables for my wife's birthday. She loves all those fables, especially the darker stories. We need Cinderella expansion at some point, if possible. Her name's Cindy. Well, Labe, I think we can probably... I'm probably saying too much in this already. I'm probably giving away way too much in this live stream, but chances are good Cindy will get her wish. And I'm glad you're liking the dark stories and you're liking the fables and you're liking all that stuff. So, hi, I'm a squirrel named Byron. No. I would be the dog from Up seeing the squirrel. Anyways, or the cat. Probably more likely a cat. Anyways. Hi there, just hopped on. Well, welcome, Dice Throne Podcast. It's good to see you. But are there plans to add more Fables onto the TTS mod? Yes, there are indeed. We're working on that right now. But thanks for being here. She will turn into a pumpkin mech. That's a great idea, Viper. I like it. When do you think we will see the final Deep Madness game? Says Dustin. I don't know. I mean, if people keep wanting Deep Madness, it's something that we might just keep doing too. So, who knows? I mean, oh man, this is real spoiler territory. I don't know if I should do this or not. Okay, if enough of you guys ask me, I'll give you a spoiler about the future of Deep Madness. Potentially. All rumors. But Critical Strike, yes, I agree. I think that would be so awesome, having that hardcover rule book with all the scenarios and stuff in it for Deep Madness. Are we planning on making STL files for our minis so we can print more, specifically for Deep Madness? I don't know that has been discussed, Banana. I kind of doubted at this point that we would release STL files for the Deep Madness minis. So a very good reason for that, actually, is a lot of the minis were not 3D. They were not 3D sculpted. They were hand sculpted. So that's why, like, poor little Dimension Rift ended up being this size. We had no clue he was this size until we saw the final. Actually, it was at Gen Con. So we get there. I think I had seen Dimension Rift, but none of the rest of the team had. And so Roger, our CEO / creative director / lead game designer / fearless leader, as I call him, saw Dimension Rift, and he was like, oh no, he's so tiny. So, because the sculpt went straight to the factory, and then yeah, so so they didn't actually see the finished sculpt until it was already printed and that sort of thing. So we have learned our lesson from all that stuff. Anyways, so yeah, for those reasons and other reasons, I kind of doubt we would see STL files available for Deep Madness. To make your short question long. So Nurse Ruben, yes, I will definitely check out Board Game Codes. I've been watching all the videos for Twisted Fables. I think he just published that today or something, so I haven't had a chance because I was getting ready for this and trying to get everything working right. And hey, it still didn't. Deluxe rulebook with a short story, maybe. Never know, Russ. You never know. Well, thanks, Michael. I really appreciate that. Just you mentioning you wanting to give the game, what it's worth or whatever. That's fantastic. I really appreciate that. William, have you checked out the well, okay, first of all, there's a bunch of good videos on that. Learn to Play has some good videos for learning how to play Deep Madness. The other one would be, have you checked out the Facebook group? The Facebook group is full of fantastic folks who answer everyone's questions, including me, but specifically uh, like one of our backers slash fans, Phil, comes immediately to mind. Phil is he is the master of Deep Madness, and he answers every question that comes up about it. So let me see here if I can get you that link so that you can have an easier time learning Deep Madness. I've got to have Facebook open here somewhere. Here we go. Okay. One second, I'll get you that link. The group is called Deep Madness Universe, so it covers Deep Madness, Dawn of Madness, everything in the Deep Madness universe there. Come on, link. Come on, link. Where are you? Fine. Facebook keeps changing where they put the thing. One sec. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here is that link for that Facebook group, William, so you can take a look at it. So hopefully that helps. Oh, glad you enjoyed Shattered Seas, Jim. That's awesome. So do I think Dawn of Madness is still on track? That's anyone's guess at this point. So it's definitely, we're definitely behind where we wanted to be at this point for Dawn of Madness. And I mean, there's a number of reasons for that. One is coronavirus has slowed everything down. But another is just some of the writing and that sort of thing hasn't gone as quickly as we would hope. But I hope that we're still at least close to on track. I know that a lot of the stuff is being manufactured or at least not manufactured but put together. So hopefully we are close at least to on time. So we'll know more the closer we get to launch there, Jim. But here's hoping. So Russ, yes, just mentioning the Facebook group there. Oh, Shark, good to see you, man. Welcome. John, welcome, John. Good to see you. Okay, sorry if I'm way behind on comments here. Like I said, I like to get through as many as I possibly can of all your guys' questions and that sort of thing. So, so I know someone just asked, but had a phone call. So is there any way to get the art book if the goal isn't reached? Okay, so just real quick to recap that, old bearded sailor. Your name is great. So I strongly suspect we will hit it. Because even though it looks like we're a ways away now, there's still the final 2-day push. And in that final 2-day push, a lot of stuff can happen. But if we don't hit it, what I suspect will probably happen is we'll keep working towards the goal in the Pledge Manager. Because I'm sure there will be people jumping in the Pledge Manager, that sort of thing. So I strongly suspect we will hit it at some point soon. If not in the campaign, which I think we will, but then not too long after that, probably. You really like to take my money, don't you, Byron? Well, I mean, MTX2, I won't lie and say that we don't. I really appreciate you being all in on Deep Dawn and Twisted. That's awesome, my friend. So thanks for being a part of Diemension Games and supporting what we do and that sort of thing. We really appreciate you and all of our backers. But and we tried to make this campaign cheaper for you. See, we tried to make it not so wallet busting this time. What is your favorite Twisted Fable character to play? Well, oh Oh man, that's a good question. Sleeping Beauty's a beast. I won't lie. Sleeping Beauty is an absolute beast. Uh, she's uh, Alice is actually a lot of fun. She kind of like flits around the board and she's all over the place, and she's constantly gathering cards, and she's really good. Now I will say I haven't actually gotten to play the expansion Fables yet, but I'm really looking forward to playing Little Mermaid and Dorothy. Really looking forward to playing Little Mermaid and Dorothy. But having said that, they're all fun to play. But currently maybe Sleeping Beauty. I don't know. I think she's a lot of people's favorite who've had the chance to play her. But they're all so different, and they're all fun to play. So I can't necessarily say that with 100% certainty. Can we get Dorothy out of playmat just because she wants it? Jim. That's a great question. And people need to fight for Dorothy if they want to see her on that playmat. I'm just saying, need to fight for Dorothy. But I will admit, a Dorothy playmat would be awesome. Will we get even more expansions? Baba Yaga? Dark Angel Callie, that is... I don't think anyone has thought about doing Baba Yaga. I'm not sure she'd fit. But dang, that would be awesome. Okay, but not in this campaign. In this campaign, there won't be any more expansions or any more Fables, that sort of thing, because everything that's in there right now is finished developmentally. Like, a lot of it still has to be manufactured, the minis still have to be tooled, stuff like that. But, so there won't be any more Fables in this campaign. But we are actively looking at making more of them. So, I think the future is definitely bright. And we really believe in this game, and we want to see it succeed, and we want to continue expanding this universe. So if people are interested in it, I think it's a fairly good bet that we will see more Fables in the future. And at least one of your mentions there is probably a pretty good bet. Though now I really want a Baba Yaga Fable. I'm just saying. I love how thematic it is for Deck Builder. Well, thanks, Michael. I appreciate that. Yeah, the team really worked hard to make it as thematic and each Fable as different as possible. So I really appreciate you that. A crossover pack so we can use the minis in Deep Madness. First of all, hi, Hayabusa. Sorry if I mispronounced your name there, but a crossover pack. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just going to be honest. I mean, I guess they could be, but maybe investigators, I suppose, but I don't really see that happening. But who knows? Anything's possible, right? I mean, I know some people have asked for a Twisted Fables skin Deep Madness game. And some of those people were on the team. So we'll see. Okay, so having just said that, nothing's impossible. You bet, Labe. Glad I could make Cindy's day there. Can we get guest crossover from Dice Throne? Oh. There you go, Chago. I thought Deep Madness was a trilogy, says Dustin. Oh, Deep Madness can be whatever the heck we want it to be, Dustin. I don't know how much I can really say. There is definitely a game somewhere in Deep Madness's future, and who knows? Who knows what could happen in the future? I think that there's a lot of life left in Deep Madness, depending where we want to take it. So that's all I'll say right there, unless people bug me a lot. Okay, so John asks, I asked this on the DOM site, but will we soon know how Face of the Sphere will work with DOM? Yeah, so John, actually, Faces of the Sphere, I believe they're abominations. I'm pretty sure that that Faces of the Sphere is abominations. I don't think they're terrors. So there's probably like a couple families of them, or maybe some of them are terrors and some of them are abominations. I'm not positive about that. I'd have to look back. It's been a while since I've discussed Faces of the Sphere with the guys, and it's also been a while since the campaign. But yes, I'm sure we'll have more about how Faces of the Sphere works in the future and that sort of thing. But I'm pretty sure that they're abominations. And for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, this is Donna Madness stuff. And it was a crossover between Deep Madness and Donna Madness. With the... Oh, well, here's one. Here's one right here. So this was one of the abominations... Or, not abominations. This is one of the Faces of the Sphere characters. This is Ward Phillips. And let's see, I'm sure I've got others here somewhere. Yeah. And Randy Carter here. So, our previous games, for those of us who are just joining us for Twisted Fables, our previous games were all horror games. Really strongly horror games. So, yeah. Anyways. So yes, those will like I was saying, we'll have more info on that shortly, I'm sure, but pretty sure they're abominations. Spoil it, spoiler please, spoiler. I don't know. Banana says no spoilers. Oh no, that's -1, guys. A Lovecraft expansion wouldn't be bad either. Oh, for Twisted Fables? If that's what you mean, that would be interesting. I'm not positive how that would work, but with all those sexy fables, no wonder the cover... I'm not going to finish reading that comment. Sure, board hoarder. If people don't want to hear it, they can mute for a second. Okay. It would be great to see expansions about Nemesis of the Fables, like, for example, Evil Queen, so we can play it versus Snow White. Oh, that's an interesting idea, Dav. That's a very interesting idea. So, it's an interesting idea. Actually, there are some adversaries in the game, which you're going to learn in our next update. I mean, actually, a lot of them kind of are tied in. So, like, Red Riding Hood is tied in with Dorothy, and they're both tied in with our next update. And actually, a lot of characters are tied in with the next update. So, stay tuned for the next update. But yeah, that's a very interesting idea. So now Evil Queen wouldn't work versus Snow White because Snow White kind of is the Evil Queen. Like her parents were trying to save the world by taking her out, which didn't work. She's now undead. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and read the Snow White update. But you shouldn't need more minis. There are rules to bounce the game when you run out. Okay. After Shattered, so Russ says, after Shattered Seas, there is huge potential for new stories and gameplay. So I think DM and hopefully Dom will continue for a while yet with new things in the future. You pretty well nailed it there, Russ. Shattered Seas does open up a whole slew of possibilities. And so it's just kind of a matter of what possibilities do we want to cherry pick from. Have you thought about making a TF comic or novella with lots of illustrations? Definitely, Michael. I would love to do both of those. The problem with comic books is you have to find a good artist, and you have to, and the cost can be a detriment. So we've looked into doing it a couple of times, and both times you're like, ooh. But if we got the right artist, then we would love to do comic books for Twisted Fables, for Deep Madness, for Donna Madness, for whatever. As far as a novella, I'd love to write one. We'll just have to, see how everything goes. So we couldn't put anything really story focused in this particular campaign because we're really focused on Donna Madness right now. So, and we're writing a bunch of content for Donna Madness. So that's why you haven't seen a lot of actual story content for Twisted Fables in this particular campaign, but that doesn't mean it's not coming. Minis look awesome. Thanks, Viper. Bring on the spoilers. Okay, we're getting closer, guys. We're getting closer to me spoiling stuff. Hello, I'm so excited about this game. Hi, Matthew. Good to see you here. There seems to be many cute girls featured as Fables. Well, I mean, yes. Yes, there are. The purpose isn't to just make cute girls, though. It's because we really wanted these really deadly ladies to beat the snot out of each other. But anyways, yes, you're right. Did you guys add any Fables to the D&D type story? So, Baltimore fan, we didn't get real far in the D&D version because we pretty well decided pretty early on to just scrap it. So, but in the original version, it was almost more like archetypes than it was like actual characters. So there was a lot of space for us to kind of make, more skin it, I guess you could say, and really make it something Diemension games would make. So I can't really say for sure if there were any Fables in it or not. Honestly, I was barely a part of the game early on. I just know that they decided to definitely go away from the D&D setting or type of setting, which honestly I think was a really good idea. There's a ton of D&D style fantasy games out there, and I don't know that we needed one more. But anyways, Shattered Skull Studio. As I first received DM, I was blown away by the amount of minis, and I tried to paint them close to the artwork. Now I have to do your second wave. Good luck, man. Glad you got the first wave painted, though. That's pretty awesome. Yes, Matthew, Phil Blake is the one to talk. For anyone who's wanting some insights on how to play Deep Madness, Phil Blake is your man. He is your man. So anyways, oh wow, I just got to my link. I am so far behind in comments. Sorry, guys. What does the future look like for Diemension Games? Thank you, team, for your hard work, especially for your fans. Well, thanks, Patrick. Really appreciate that. Thanks for being a part of Diemension Games. We consider all of our backers to be a part just as much as we are. So thanks for being with us. So what does the future look like, though? So, sorry. Apparently my nose itches today, guys. Sorry. But so next year we will have, well, hopefully we'll ship Donna Madness to folks, the first wave. That would be fantastic. And then apart from that, we'll have Deep Madness reprint. So we're working on some stuff for that right now. And then we'll also hopefully be launching Celestial. So Celestial has been a project we announced not long after Deep Madness's original printing, and it's still coming. Celestial is definitely a big part of what's going to be happening in the future, as is Deep Madness, as is Donna Madness, as is Twisted Fables. As apart from other stuff beyond that, I'm sure there will be. We have a lot of stuff we're looking at, working on, that sort of thing. But we also really like the idea of expanding our universes that we've been creating. Because why just abandon them when we've already started building them up? So I know that's kind of different from a lot of folks who maybe a board game is just like a one and done thing, but that's not necessarily how we want to look at things. Is there a way to find out if the Drifter King is available for purchase? Says Mike Brown. Okay, Mike. So send an email to deepmadness@dimensiongames.com. I'm typing that in here for you. And ask Cherry if we have any Drifter Kings available. She'd be the one to know, and she'd be the one who'd be able to get that shipped for you. Until we have like an actual online store. But Michael says, if anyone here wants to learn to play Twisted Fables and has TTS, I can teach. Michael, you are the man. Thank you. Appreciate that. So anyone, look up Michael if you want to learn to play Twisted Fables. Matthew says this campaign is such a great deal. Well, thank you, Matthew. I'm glad you think so. We really tried to make it a good deal for folks. So I'm glad you think so. Okay. Old Beard is saying, no, you're not a downer at all. A lot of people ask this question. And that's just fine. No problem at all. Hi, JR. Good to see you. Welcome to the live stream. Sorry for just getting to your comment now. I'm way behind on comments, but I try to get through as many comments as I can from folks. So I'm so impatient to have Dom and TF on my table. I'm impatient for you to have them on your table, Viper. Yes, really. Yeah. I want to get these things out to folks. I liked Snow White when I played. The poison is fun, and I'm fighting for Dorothy every day on the KS. LOL. Keep going, Jim. Keep going. Yeah, Snow White is a lot of fun. She's like... She's one of those you just kind of like, and here's another poison card, and here's another one, and enjoy, have fun. How's Celestial development going? So I guess we just talked about that a little bit, Shark, but it's still going. It's making good progress. So we're next year, fingers crossed, next year is the year it finally launches. So we're making a lot of progress on it. And so we're just, figuring everything out, making sure it's the right time to launch it, because we don't want to be rushed into a situation where people think, I don't know. We want this to be one of those games that people just go crazy over. So that's our goal, at least. I mean, we'll see if we succeed, but that's what we're hoping for. So Celestial development is ongoing, and I think it's going pretty well, and hopefully next year's the year we actually launch the thing. Anyways. Now I really want to have the Twisted Fables fight against the horrors of Deep Madness. This is going to be a thing now, isn't it, Ribimus Prime? Your name is awesome, by the way. Viper says we should do Pippi Longstocking. Pippi Longstocking! That is such an interesting idea. I wonder if she's copywritten. She might be. We try to avoid copywritten characters. Then we have to pay fees for them. But that's a very interesting idea. Twisted Fable setting as a Deep Madness minigame, that would be epic. I agree with you, Darkness. I think that also would be epic. I know it might be far too early to ask, but how will you make the next TF expansions after this campaign? Kickstarter or retail? They'll be Kickstarter, Labe. It's always easier for us to do to have the funding from crowdfunding to help us fund things. Plus, in several of our projects, games have ended up just being Kickstarter exclusive. Not that we intended them to be; they just have been. Like, as of right now, Deep Madness still is. Though, I mean, hopefully at some point that might change, but as of right now, it still is. And then Donna Madness is too. So we really rely on Kickstarter and crowdfunding to be able to make our games. So I can pretty much guarantee that future expansions will be on Kickstarter. Wondering about obtaining miniatures if you do retail. Don't worry about it. We're doing Kickstarter. I can pretty much guarantee you. And we'll do minis for all of our future expansions. I suspect we'll do foil cards too. But minis definitely. So, spoiler. Deep Space Madness, says Darkness. Seth, welcome, my friend. Good to see you here. And sorry for just seeing your name. I'm way back in the comments. Oh man. Okay. I'll get to other stuff first, but so Ollie North, tell me, were you inspired even a little bit by Todd McFarlane's Twisted Tales of Oz when you thought this project up? I don't know that we were, but I love those things, man. Those the Twisted Tales of Oz were so stinking awesome. I loved those figures. Yes, those things were incredible. Like Toto was this giant gelatinous blob monster thing. It was good stuff. So no, I don't think it directly influenced us, but yeah, dang, those were cool. Tell us more about Awesome Fedora. Thank you. Awesome Horror Games. Thank you. Is Celestial the next game that you're making? So, Nurse Ruben, here's hoping. Here's hoping Celestial is our next one. So I know I covered that a little bit, but yeah, I really hope that Celestial's the next one. Apart from, the Deep Madness remake, not remake, but reprint. I think that that's going to come first. But I suspect that Celestial will come probably mid next year, if all goes according to plan. Because I really want to avoid fall and winter for our next campaigns. I really want to avoid them. Anyways. Is Twisted Fables the game that just went live on Kickstarter? Yes. G3 Geeks and Gaming Gurus. Twisted Fables is live right now on Kickstarter. How set are all the cards? So we've done a ton of testing, Ryan, for Twisted Fables. We've done a lot of testing. Could things still change? Yeah, potentially. They would need to change really fast, though, because we're hopefully going to be moving into manufacturing not long after the campaign ends. Okay, so you're talking about Alice's Important Date epic leading to an infinite loop of turns. I don't think in practice it's actually possible. So someone else had mentioned this early on in the campaign, and I mentioned that I had just played a game with that particular card, and I still got trounced. So Sleeping Beauty still wiped the floor with me. So I don't think it's actually possible for that card to go on into an infinite loop of turns, especially because you would need the epic in your hand to do that every single turn, and that's just simply not possible. So I don't think that's actually a problem. That it was mentioned by someone else too, but I don't think it's physically a possibility. Seth says, I'm working with Phil Blake now to make a tour guide of DM. Oh, sweet. I look forward to seeing that, Seth. That's going to be awesome. Hi, long string of characters. I'm sorry. XSRPXBOR 1978. Good to see you. And hi, Steve. Good to see you too. In the Lovecraft expansion, you can turn all the elder gods into waifus. Oh man. I I don't think that's gonna happen, guys. I'm just gonna be honest. um would we do a crossover game with Come On or any major game IP out there? Sure, we'd be up for it, Chaco. We would have no problem doing a crossover. In fact, we've done several crossovers before. Most of them have been smaller. So we had, like, for instance, with Donna Madness, we started off doing a crossover with Peterson Games. So we did it was a smaller project for them, Eternal Adversary, but there's actually going to be a lot of Dawn of Madness monsters in Eternal Adversary. So yeah, we do crossovers a lot actually. We did another one for what was it called? It's Malleus Maleficarum, I think is what it's called. So Hysteria ended up in that one. And we haven't had a lot of other projects in ours. Normally we've intended to, but then it just kind of fizzles and falls apart. So we haven't had a lot of that sort of project in our actual games, but that doesn't mean we're not open to it. Like the Peterson game one, their project ended up not really being big enough, and at the time it just didn't really make sense to have the Eternal Adversary stuff in Dawn of Madness. Specifically at that point, we didn't want to rock any boats or anything along those lines, so we ended up not doing that. But yeah, we're absolutely up for doing crossovers with major IPs. Hello, Brickhouse Salvage and Antiques. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Should make a competing universe and game to GW Warhammer. So Marquis, it's interesting you mentioned that. We kind of have a game like that, and it's called Celestial. Not that Celestial is really a Warhammer style game, but it is. I mean, there are some similarities. There's some it's a skirmish game largely. So, and it's got really big multi-part. Let's see, who do I have here with me here for Celestial? So she's missing her little DNA strand. I have to put that back in. But so here's Neva from Celestial. This is just a resin one, which you guys can actually get right now at I think it's celestialshop.com. Or something like that, or shop.celestialgame.com. That's it. Here's another one. So yeah, Celestial. We're hoping to launch next year. So that is kind of going to be. It's probably going to be our biggest game. I don't know. Dawn of Madness is awfully huge, as far as content. I mean. But it's going to have, the multi-piece hips minis, and which look great. We've already gotten some of the samples of those and stuff, and so yeah, we're actively working on that one. Are we planning on making other horror games? Banana, we love horror games, and I strongly suspect that we will do more of them. Any chance to obtain previous stretch goals and KS exclusives in the reprint campaign? Yes. I'm sure they will all be in their hair on fire. So, no worries there. And all the best to you, Shark. Felixi, nice fedora. Thank you. I appreciate that. Do you plan to keep the TF system to the TF IP, or could it be used for licenses or a new IP down the road? That's a great question, Michael. I don't know. I think it could probably be applied to other IPs down the road potentially, or licenses or that sort of thing. I don't know that it's something we're actively looking at doing. I don't know if it's something we necessarily just want to skin out or whatever, but maybe. Who knows? Or could be used for an expansion for a larger game where the individual games used for combat resolution of a larger game. That's an interesting idea. I don't know. Maybe so. I do know that there's a lot of card mechanics and that sort of thing in Celestial. It's actually a diceless game, I believe. Last I heard, anyways. So who knows? Maybe some Twisted Fable stuff might show up in that even. Seems like Twisted Fables could easily be madness-induced enemies and deep madness. Crossover cards do it. Critical Strike. That would be interesting. Deep madness, Twisted Fables. Later on, mate, you can check messages on Facebook. Yes, Shattered Skull, I will do that. We have not been very good, or rather, I have not been very good, about checking Facebook messages and that sort of thing during the campaign, so I apologize about that. Keep making games of quality like Deep Madness. I'm sure we will all keep backing them. Well, thanks, Darkness. I appreciate that. Oh, William, good to see ya. Hi, if you're still here, I hope you are. Sorry, I'm way back here in the comments, but just saw yours. What game is this again? I'm new and I play PS4. Well, M. Corey, this is a board game. So we're talking about several different games, all of the Diemension games, board games, which are Twisted Fables, Deep Madness, and Donna Madness. So if you're not into board games, you should get into board games, and you should check out the games of Diemension games. We need a fedora-wearing writer in DM and Dom that has a connection to the other side that makes his writings come true. I'll admit, Russ, that was one of my favorite parts of the Dark Tower series, was later on in the book, Stephen King becomes a character, and so Stephen King is writing Stephen King, who's writing the Dark Tower. That was really cool. So, who knows? But probably not. Do you use opiates? No. No, I do not. Make GTA 6 in Toronto? M. Corey, I think you have the wrong studio. Oh, Artificial Jesus. Oh, well, hey. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. So it's always nice to make the connection between Kickstarter and YouTube and when the names are so different. So that's fantastic. King Arthur would be cool, and Morrigan, even if she's not really a fable. Well, I mean, technically, Mulan is technically, arguably, a historical figure. So we are not opposed to using loosely historical figures. But yeah, Mulan is arguably a true story. Not ours, of course. But yeah, so yeah, those very cool. King Arthur and Morgan. Who knows? Maybe it could happen. Bruh Memento. Can you shout me out, please? Shout out to Bruh Memento. Thanks for being here, man. And thank you for thinking Diemension Games is the best. That's awesome. Sorry, bro. I just saw your later one here. Hello, I'm your favorite fan. Well, thank you. We appreciate that. I'm just way up in the comments still, so. Is it possible to add more money during PM for Twisted Fable to come out officially on Tabletop Simulator post-campaign? Would love to play this digitally with friends. So what do you mean by that, Nico-Chen? So, because actually I think we're doing that just for free. But having said that also, I'm also not really big on Tabletop Simulator. So is there a way to make it official? but beyond just the mod, I mean. So like we've got the mod on there, we're adding more stuff to it. But if there's a way to make it official on Tabletop Simulator, then I'm sure we'd be up for doing something like that. I don't know if there is. I'm not as familiar with Tabletop Simulator as I should be. So let me know if there is. To keep up replayability, will there be expansion cards or decks for Twisted Fables coming in the future? Definitely. Definitely, David. Absolutely. I'm amazed Byron has gone this long with no massive spoilers. Well, it's because people stopped asking for spoilers, Russ. Though, actually, I will say, I have actually had several spoilers, but yeah. Craig, well, welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Craig is the Craig Milne up here who says I'm a sexy hat wearing fecker. He's one of our Gen Con team actually, so he comes with us every year except this last one when Gen Con was canceled because anyways, and he is a Scottish English Canadian, but his accent is Scottish. And he's really tall. He's I have to kind of hide him from my wife whenever she's around. Anyways, man, y'all should have done a Madara crossover. We would have been up for that. Actually, I think we might have been. I feel like we might have been in talks with them, but it kind of fell apart at the last second. I think what happened. I feel like we might have talked with them actually, but it was just too late. Like their Kickstarter was like, it was like their last day or something. Jeff and I are about to sit down and play another game of Twisted Fables. William, you are the man. So for those wondering, William is ninja off duty. In the comments for Kickstarter or whatever, he is the guy. So Phil is the guy who can answer all your Deep Madness questions. Bill or William is the guy who can answer all of your Twisted Fables questions because he's played it a lot. So yeah, William is fantastic. So if you've got questions about Twisted Fables, definitely let him know. I mean, you can let me know too, or whoever. But but William is fantastic for all things Twisted Fables hints. Will Celestial be solo playable? Yes, Alan, absolutely it will be. No question there. In fact, solo might be the preferred method, or co-op. Solo or co-op, and then we're working on like a PvP as well. So, okay, Russ, this is a great question. How many Shared Seas do you have to hand sign? Okay, that's not as great of a question, but and when will the audio versions be available? That's a great question. Those are going to be available super soon, actually. They're finishing them up now. We're trying to figure out how to get the codes to everybody. So, Jeff, who is William's brother, small world, right? His company, Sound Booth Theater, they've finished it up. They're putting final touches on everything, and now we're just trying to figure out how to get the codes out to everyone. So I think there's actually like a listening party for their team tomorrow for the book, and then I think they're officially launching it somewhere around the 31st. I think they want to have it out in time for a or the 30th maybe. They want to have it out on time for a Halloween release. So yeah, that's coming soon. That's coming very soon. As to how many do I have to hand sign, it's not as many as you think. It's probably, I mean, yeah, it's a ton, but for one person. But it's not like hundreds or thousands or anything. It's maybe like 70, something like that. So not bad. Oh no, I lost my place. what kind of game will Celestial be? So we've covered that a little bit. So it's basically a story-driven skirmish game, Nurse Ruben, and it's it's I like to equate it as Chinese mythology meets cyberpunk meets steampunk meets Game of Thrones meets see what else meets Lovecraft. So that's kind of the tone. It's based heavily in Chinese mythology. It's based on, oh shoot, what's the name of the story? Basically, it's kind of the creation myth from Chinese mythology with our take. So like Neva, she's one of the central deities basically in the Chinese creation myth. So she is very big in it, and there's a lot of most of our characters actually come from the story in some shape or form. So but then there's, yeah, it's like some of the story is just brutal, and it's going to be really cool. But anyways, I digress. That's not what you were asking at all. You weren't asking about the story. I'm the story guy. So or I work on the stories, and the stories are very important to me. So as far as the actual game goes, so yeah, it's a solo or co-op or PvP. I believe it's PvP. Last I heard, it was going to be PvP. So hopefully that's still a thing. I think it is. But solo and co-op is the main meat of the story. Like, and it's probably going to be around 2 players. Maybe it might be more, but I suspect it'll probably end up being around 2 players, 1 to 2 players. And it's story-driven skirmish. So it's you progressing through a storyline as you're completing objectives and blowing stuff up and so on and so forth. So hopefully that answers the question a little bit. There's a bunch of really cool mechanics, which obviously honestly, I'm not well versed enough in to really expound upon them in depth here. But it's going to be really cool. And like I said, I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier. It's diceless, so there's that element of luck is maybe missing from it, and so it's a little more strategy and skill based. Okay, so let's see. Byron is so jovial. I'm convinced Diemension has kept him completely hidden from the horrors of 2020. I hope that everyone can be happy again soon too, Ribimus. So I don't think anyone would deny that this year has kind of sucked. But yes, I hope that as well. And thank you for thinking that I'm jovial. Very interested to see what other fables and awesome female characters you add to this game in future expansions. If they happen, of course, no pressure. Thanks, Dandy. Yes, they're definitely in the works, so we'll have more hopefully soon. I think I've already given a couple hints on what a couple of them might be, but so yes, I can make it official on TTS. You can even charge for it. Huh. Well, who knows? Maybe that could happen. I don't know if we want to charge people for it, but because I mean, we would prefer to develop a player base than to get people to pay money for it, I think. But who knows? Maybe we can make it official on TTS. Gigek. My son just woke me up and I found madness in my phone. Good to see you. Good to see you too, man. Going back to sleep now. Well, hopefully I saw you. I don't know. I might have missed you, depending how far back this was in the. We want spoilers, says James. All right. Also, rules question. If I play Snow White attack skill that discards card from top of deck and your opponent can't do, they reshuffle discard into new deck. Yes. Yes. So if there's no deck and you need to discard something or draw something, then yes, you would reshuffle and make a new deck. Oh, this is Jeff. We're finalizing it today. It might be our best production yet. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. Well, there you go, everyone. So we have Bill and Jeff, or just Jeff, maybe, or maybe both. I think it's both of them in one user. But yes, it's going to be fantastic, guys, and you are really definitely going to want to check it out. It's from what I've heard, it's just incredible stuff. Even just so Jeff just did the audiobook for it, right? And this is talking about Shattered Seas, the book we've been doing. So Jeff just did the straight audiobook, and he's like, yeah, we'll just do like an audiobook, and it'll just be plain, just a normal audiobook, and maybe at some point that might be the one that goes on Audible off of our normal service or whatever, which they're creating their own service, guys. You're definitely going to want to check out that service. But anyways, so it'll just be kind of plain and normal, just reading through the book. And then I'm listening to him read through this book, and he's got a voice for every single character, a different voice, and it's freaking awesome. So it sounds like an entire cast just in his normal audiobook. So yes, I highly recommend it. Anyways. Did I miss when the physical books will be shipped? Oh, James, good question. They are arriving at the end of this month or early. Well, okay, so I should rephrase that. The ships are arriving in the ships will be arriving in port at the very end of October for EU, and they will be arriving in the US right around the 2nd or 3rd. So they're going to be really close in there, and then once there, they'll just need to get to the facility or the shipper and get shipped out. So there shouldn't be a whole lot of wait, hopefully, fingers crossed, for them to then get to you once the ships dock, because this isn't like a huge Kickstarter where there's a bunch of different pieces and that sort of thing. So hopefully they'll just be able to get shipped out really soon after that. But so the wait is finally coming to an end for the physical books, unless something happens, but here's hoping. The 70, is that all? I was envisioning you hidden away in your house behind four walls. No, there's not that many, Russ. So which honestly I didn't really expect there to be that many. That's actually a bit more than I expected. But hey, as long as people read the book and enjoy it, I'm great with it. Some horror legends would be also good, like say Yuki. Ooh, oh man, La Llorona, Bloody Mary. Those are some interesting ideas, Dark Angel. Huh. Very interesting ideas. Can we see a full layout of a TF playmat with the card areas showing? The KS thumbnail is really small. Oh, I think if you can't click through to that to a bigger image, a dishy fishy, your name is awesome, by the way, then yeah, we can definitely put that up. Sorry, I thought that was actually a clickable link. I think it was supposed to be. But yeah, definitely. We'll get you guys a bigger image of that playmat. English good. No worries, Michael. Hopefully I answered it okay. Also about Shattered Seas, thank you for your answer. You bet. Mulan is a fable. She's not considered a real person even in China. All right, well. I mean, she could be a real person though, Michael. Anyways. And Seth is asking Shattered World scenario to be put with the novel. That is correct, Seth. But I think it might already be packaged with it. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Nah, that might need to be put with the novel. So it might be there's one thing to put with every copy. Yeah, that's possible. I still don't think anyone has thought of the thing I came up with that you made into canon lore. At this point, Russ, we could just we could just let that one slide. Sorry I'm late again at the end. Well, that's okay, Pavel. We're happy that you're here. Deep Madness third printing when? Phil, good to see you, man. Byron says totally on topic. Well, that's because you haven't been here the whole time. Okay, so Deep Madness third printing. When will it be? Probably, my guess would be Q1 next year. So that's my guess. I mean, it could slip, obviously, but would be if I had to put a date down now. That's when I'd say. So hopefully that helps. I'm glad to hear it, Viper. That's great. Thanks for being here. There's a large art version, but I think the TF playmat may have areas for the cards to fit inside. Yes. Yes. So, sorry, Adishy Fishy. I'm just trying to figure out what your... So, yes, there are slots for all of the different cards and decks and that sort of thing on the playmats. Yes. Yeah, that's probably a good thought, Michael. That you can just play. Well, it's kind of in there. Just the one movement next to an opponent in range to just do power or whatever. So yeah, I mean, we don't necessarily want everyone doing that, but yes, you can do that. Yes, that might be a good clarification as well, Michael. Yeah, just seeing you're talking about the reducing HP, the clarifying with the poisons and stuff. Yeah. So all right, well I think I'm caught up. How about that, guys? Oh, and I haven't showed you guys any minis. So specifically Twisted Fables minis here. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's grab us some minis. Now these are just 3D prints that I've done myself, and in at least one case, I don't think it's even the finalized print. I think I printed too early. So, oh, okay. So, also was focus supposed to be a last-ditch turn action you only want to do if you have a really bad hand. So, Michael, there's a few ways you can use focus. A lot of the time it is just used as a last ditch when you just need to get something, when you have nothing else to do or whatever. But there are occasions where people just want to fine-tune their deck and to really, get rid of some of those basic level 1 cards or even the skill level 1 cards. So normally it is more of a last ditch attempt when you don't have anything else to do. But it also can be used to just fine tune the deck down if you want to. Why do you have to wear a hat? Being bald is cool. I'm actually not bald, but I do keep my hair very short, and I'm fine being bald. This is actually getting kind of long for me, but I wear a hat because well, first it's kind of my signature, but second of all, Um, there have been several live streams where I didn't wear the hat and people complained. So Russ says the hat covers the tentacles. Yes, sometimes they do sprout and then you have to cover them up. Hearing minis, I take place closer to TV. Okay, so I should actually probably show you the minis. Oh, hey, Stefanos, glad you could make it. Thanks for being here. And thank you for thinking our game and artwork and everything is awesome. So that's great. Thank you. Appreciate that. Investigator guest box crossover with major board game mini game characters. Who knows? It could happen. I don't think we're opposed to it. Yeah, you don't want to do it early game, Michael. You're right. You're absolutely right. You wouldn't want to use the focus early game because you're going to need them at that point. Yeah, I'll admit it's something I've only used a couple of times myself. It's not something I've used a ton. That looks way better than that hat. Put it back on. Oh, goodness. Most deck builders have a card that you can play to destroy cards in hand or discard and get a small other benefit and play your normal turn. Yeah, I know that there's not really something like that in this game, Michael. And it's frankly too late to put something like that in at this point because we're so close to manufacturing. But I don't know. I mean, it's certainly possible that something could be done to make the focus action more useful for folks. The video is getting choppy. Uh-oh. That's not good to hear. So yeah, I mean, video is fine for me. Okay, well that's good to hear. I thought you wanted to look like Tom Vassell. I was wearing this before I knew Tom Vassell was a thing, Critical Strike. I'll just have you know. Anyways. Oh, no worries, Michael. I appreciate the feedback, and honestly, I'm just thrilled that you like the game so much. That's fantastic. And I'm glad that you've gotten into it enough to where, you can critique stuff like that. So is that family portrait on the left-hand wall? Absolutely. Can't you see the resemblance? Oh, DM spoilers. Okay, so okay. Last video he did not have the hat and the video got really wonky. Actually, so there were a couple videos where I tried to wear the hat and the video was like purple or something, so I had to take off the hat. But yes, the hat was involved in several of the last videos going wonky. Do I feel like the game will be balanced enough for competitive play? Are there plans to support it after release? Please excuse me if this has already been answered. It actually hasn't, Stefanos. And we do plan to have it for competitive play. I mean, not like Magic or, not or like Pokemon or, something like that. I don't think we're not big enough, and I don't think we could really do something like that. But having said that, yes, we do want to have it have competitive play as an option, and I do think it will be balanced enough for that to happen. And yes, there are plans to support it after release. Definitely, we have several things we've already been talking about, and we'll just have to kind of see what the future holds there. But definitely, those are things we would like to do. Hey, Anto. Oh, we already talked. But anyways, I am late to this. Is there going to be a third Kickstarter? Yes, there is, Antar. Definitely. Probably Q1 next year. Yeah, so Michael, I think that we're going to try doing stuff like that Um, this isn't really my bailiwick. This isn't the sort of stuff I'm good at, so I can't really tell you specifics at this point, but I do think it is something that we'd like to have happen. Um, Shelf all the way. Yeah, I've got all sorts of things in this office here. You have no idea. Well, okay, so for starters, so another thing that you guys can't see in the office is I have a buddy down here on the floor. This is not one of ours. This has nothing to do with Diemension games. This is just because I like Cthulhu. I've also got this guy down here on the floor. He just sits behind me and vibes with me. So yeah, there's lots of stuff in here. uh, You're curious what books I have on the bookshelf. I've got all sorts, Russ. All sorts. And this is just one bookshelf of many, many others. We're trying very hard not to hype ourselves. Well, I'm glad you're looking forward to it, Stefanos. That's great. Aside from Twisted Fables and the other Madness game, any plans of making another CCG game? I just want another card game with sexy waifus, or waifus, or however you pronounce that. An alternative to MTG, please. I don't know that we could do that, Dark Angel. For a couple reasons. First of all, they are super expensive to make, because you have to constantly pump out new cards and that sort of thing. So the upfront cost is pretty high, and most of them tend to fail, which is why pretty much Magic the Gathering is pretty well it at this point, apart from like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! But good old Death May Die Cthulhu. Yes, absolutely. He stares at you from the closet and judges you. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Bailiwick had to get out the dictionary for that one. Nice. Do not put him on the floor, but there's no room on the shelves, Phil. Anyways. Okay, I think I missed one here. Oh, so I was talking about the Magic the Gathering thing. So, yeah, I don't think it's probably going to happen. But, I mean, who knows? I mean, we'll see. I strongly just doubt it would happen. I think if we did something, it would be more like a living card game as opposed to more of a collectible card game. I could see us doing a living card game. Potentially. But I don't know if we would do a CCG necessarily. Anyways, hope that answered your question. And sorry if that was kind of not what you were looking for. I know many deck builders that I've played that have been broken by the just buy money strategy. Well, okay, so first of all, Thrawn, there is no money in Twisted Fables. So there is what you have are basic cards, but you're playing those to do actions, and then you're getting power from those actions. So there's no currency per se in Twisted Fables. So I kind of think that's maybe a moot question, actually, because there is, like I said, there's no money. So you're constantly using these to wallop the other players while you're also gaining power. He means only basic cards. Oh, okay. Well, I don't think it would work in this game, to be perfectly frank. Like, basic cards are good, but they're not great. If you don't have skills, I don't think you're going to win the game. So I'm hoping this is answering your question. I'm not positive it is, but I don't think it's actually possible to just buy a bunch of basic cards and actually win. I'm pretty sure that's a fairly good way to just lose. So hopefully that helps answer your question. I'm not positive it did, but hopefully it did. So anyways, Profundum and Monstrum, do they return in DM third print? My friends are super salty they didn't get Monstrum when it was available. It is one of our most requested items. We had some definite issues with it in the reprint Kickstarter, but regardless of that, I think that we would have Monstrum come back, because if we could figure out a way to insulate it better or something, I don't know that we but it is definitely our most requested item. So apart from like the actual game, like people are like, hey, I want Deep Madness and I want Monstrum. That's pretty much it. So so yes, I strongly suspect it or a variant of Monstrum will be in the next reprint. What did I promise this reprint? I have not promised anything this time. I don't think. I hope not. I'm not entirely sure. Could there be expansions that have new skill cards for existing characters where you can pick and choose which 3 you use in a TF game? Yes, actually, I think that's something we're potentially thinking of, Michael. Minis and spoilers still be revealed. Yes. Sorry, guys, you keep asking me questions. I've got the minis right here, but okay, so hopefully I answered your question. I'm not positive I did. If I didn't, you can ask it again, Michael. Byron has all the minis he owns sitting on the desk in front of him. I mean, no, but I have a lot of them. A lot of them. What do you think about the Kickstarter model right now? Is it still the best platform for game developers? Well, as of right now, yeah, it's kind of the only game in town, Antar. But as far as the future, I don't know. I guess it kind of depends what GameFound ends up being and how it works and what people think of it. Because I know that that's something that Awaken Realms is actively pushing. We'll see. I don't know. As of right now, yeah, Kickstarter's pretty much it. They're pretty much it. Like Indiegogo, nah. No one uses Indiegogo, especially for board games, really. Indiegogo is more for tech stuff and that sort of thing. But as of right now, yeah, Kickstarter is pretty much the it place for board games, and we'll see. So I see you, Viper, asking about GameFound there. I don't know. I don't know. So we're going to use them for our pledge manager for this campaign, and you know, we'll learn some more, I'm sure, about it. But as far as the platform itself, I think it's interesting, and I am going to be looking forward to see if it succeeds. So, yeah, I kind of agree with you, Joe. Joe's saying if GameFound can keep bad actors off of it, then it'll be a preferred platform. Yeah, I kind of think so. But which is my favorite monster from Dawn of Madness and why? And then Phil says, Monstrum, the most horrific thing from the second print. Yeah, there were... yeah, still have some nightmares about that one. But... Wait, what? Yes, I agree with you, Phil. The Deep Madness RPG is something I still would very much like to see happen. I think development on it, honestly, is kind of stalled. But It's something I'd still like to see happen at some point in the future. The big problem is, we're all so busy with other stuff right now. We would probably have to hire it out, and that's what we were talking about doing, was hiring it out. But we'd still have to be really hands-on with it, and we just don't really have the time right now with Dawn of Madness and everything else going on. So, yeah, it's something I still very much want to see happen, though. Hi, Byron. Dawn is the first board game I ever backed on Chaos, and it's like I pledged to not stop pledging. Oh man, I feel your pain, Panagiatis. I'm sorry if I butchered your name there, but yeah, KS is kind of like a drug. You just, once you start, it's hard to stop. So, yes, I feel you on that, and we'll work on getting it to you as soon as we possibly can here. So Ribimus, a big part of the problem with it is that it's a big empty box. And so some people had, there were a few issues with it, like getting hurt in transit was a big one, especially in certain countries, which probably says something about that country's particular shipping method. So, anyways, oh man, that's a good question. But okay, I'll get to that in a second. So I see a really great question there from you, Antar. But so yeah, there were some definite logistical issues from it, and a big part of the problem was, sure, we could ship this box to you as a replacement, but there's no guarantee that this one's going to be any better. Well, and to be fair, a lot of people, it was kind of a mess. So yeah, but if we can find out a way to fix that, then I think that we might have the Monstrum or a variant of it back for the next reprint. Okay, so let me just make sure I got everyone here. So Dos Della Rosa, hey, in Dom, the character terrors now only appear after character death. What stopped you all from using the terrors as the PC instead, causing bad repercussions throughout the game? So, okay, so I think what you're talking about is actually the malformations, Dos Della Rosa, and rather than the terrors, because terrors are out for the entire game, as are the abominations. So what really stopped us from doing it is we thought this was cool. So and what you have to kind of think of too is, chances are you're probably going to die in Dawn of Madness, and you're probably going to die at least a couple times. So it's not like you're not going to see these malformations, right? So and chances are you might very well get through all three of them. Though, man, if you get to that third one, you're going to be in trouble. But as far as making them, I'm guessing by PC you mean playable character. So they never really were playable necessarily. That's more of something that I'm doing in like finales, where you slowly devolve into these things. But it's never a good thing when you do. But as far as like in the actual game itself, what they did specifically was you could kind of coerce them to help you fight the abominations. And honestly, there were a couple big problems with it. The first one was in that initial game, there were only it was only the central wanderer who could do it, this wanderer whose story you're working through. But the problem with that is then other people couldn't do it, and people felt like the central wanderer was more important and everyone else was just like bystanders, more or less. So we pledged to have every action be available to every player, and that just wasn't really possible with still using the malformations in that way. Plus, the way that they work now is, in my in my opinion, it's more thematic, and it makes more sense maybe. Plus, I'm really looking forward to having like everyone's malformations on the board at once. I think that's going to be very cool. So basically, why we did it is because we thought it would be better. We thought it would be make for a better game, and I thoroughly think that that is the case. So hopefully that answered your question. But yeah, I really think it's going to be really cool now the way it's going to work, and it's going to give so much tension when those things come out, because if you don't kill them, then you get a withered effect that's going to affect you through the whole potentially forever if you don't find a way to get rid of it. So anyways, hopefully that helps. Antar, you have a great question here. Could you pass on some advice to aspiring game developers? How do you start? Where do you go? You start by just developing the game, Antar. So, you have, just do whatever you have, whatever you can. They sell blank components on some websites. Printandplay.com or something like that. There's a few of them. There's a few websites you can go to just get blank components you can just write on, or you can print them out yourself and slap them on cardstock or whatever. But just start getting that basic game out there. So then once you've started developing that basic game, and this is similar for writing too, honestly. But so once you've started developing that basic game, you also need to start developing your base as much as you can. As soon as you've started getting cool stuff to show, you want to start showing it. Because the bigger your base is, the more traction you're going to get. So Facebook page is huge. We've gotten a ton. Our company basically exists because of Facebook and pages. Now, when we started, it was way easier than it is now. Now it's much tougher to really, get a big following and that sort of thing without paying a bunch of money. But it's still possible. But so you want to build that community. You want to get those people rallied around your project, because once you've got those people rallied around you, those are your backers on Kickstarter. Those are your backers for a board game, or wherever you end up going, or GameFound, or wherever. And there's also the the give and take, or you can also choose to go more of a direct publisher route, but that can be kind of a tough thing. There are a few books that I recommend on creating board games. Oh man, are they in here? Boy, I don't see them. I thought maybe I had them in here. Maybe I do, but they're hiding. But there's several very good books. So go to Amazon and look up how to make a board game, basically, because there's several very good books on the subject that can really help you in fleshing out stuff and that sort of thing. But really, it's just start getting it out there and start play testing it. Start iterating on it, because what you start off with is not what you're going to end up with. It's pretty much a guarantee. You have to be very willing to kill your darlings. That's a writing term. Stephen King said that about writing, but it's very, very true in board game design as well. Chances are you're going to throw out tons of mechanics, then you're going to bring in a bunch more in, and you're just going to continue refining it until you actually have something that people want to play. Art is something we found to be very important with board games as well. So try to budget, if you can, if you're going to publish it yourself. Some developers, they prefer, or if you're going the traditional publishing route, some publishers prefer to not have a bunch of art on there. They want to put their own art in there. So that's something to consider too. But then you're also getting a much smaller percentage of, not that you get a lot through Kickstarter either. I mean, let's be honest. No one on Kickstarter is making a mint, except maybe Kingdom Death. But even then, I mean, he's got a whole team of people that he's got working for him, and They've got high production values and stuff like that. So um, you don't necessarily make board games to get rich. You do it because it's something you really want to do. And that's, same for any creative endeavor, I suppose. But yeah, so there's a lot of factors in there. But go to Amazon and check out some of the how to make a board game books. There's one by Mike Selinker, Selinker, that I read that was pretty good. I really liked that one. I wish I had the books here so I could just list off the titles for you. It's been a while since I read them. And it's possible I do and I just couldn't see them. But so hopefully that helps a little bit. If you want to talk about it more, you can feel free to drop me an email or message me or whatever. I'm always happy to, chat with people about that sort of stuff. So and I'll throw my email address down here for anyone who wants to send me an email. Sure, why not? So anyways, hopefully that helped a little bit. Thanks, Michael. I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh my goodness, have we been on here for... Dang, we've been going for a while here, guys, huh? I guess we probably should call it quits here before too long, huh? But thank you, Michael, for hanging out with us. Really appreciate it, my friend. And thanks for all your questions, and I hope I answered them, fairly well. But behind the curtain question. Are there any mechanics, characters, etc. that you and the team loved but had to be cut for whatever reason in any of the Diemension games development? Normally, if there's a really cool idea, we find a way to make it work. I mean, sure, there's been all sorts of stuff that's cut. Everything goes through iterations. Everything goes through different versions. And, this didn't work or that didn't work. And I'm sure there's some very cool stuff that's been cut. As far as actual characters... Oh, but you say mechanics, too. Yeah, mechanics, absolutely. No question. So many mechanics, but it just didn't quite work anymore. Or yeah, lots of them. None that are springing to mind right off the top of my head. But like Dawn of Madness has had well, obviously people have seen some of the iterations, but then there are other things that people didn't see all the iterations before that. But normally you can get to the point where you're like, this new version is better. Even though I like this old thing, this new one is still going to be better in the long term than the one I was attached to. So, yeah. But yes, definitely. Top work on Twisted Fables, by the way. Great to see the rest of the team getting at the front of a project. Thanks, Phil. Yeah, we're all plugging away at that one. So thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, so Antar, I just saw your follow-up question there. So generally, if you have a good idea, you would advise going the self-publishing route or try to find a publisher. It's really up to you, man. I mean, so like, there are huge advantages and disadvantages to both. The huge advantage to Kickstarter is you have control. You lose all control when you go, or a lot of the control when you go with a traditional publisher. But that's not necessarily a bad thing either, because then they're doing the art, then they're doing the, they're doing the stuff, and so that can be really helpful too. I guess it really depends on what you want to get out of it, because you've also got all the logistic stuff with Kickstarter. Because if you're doing Kickstarter, you've got to make that game, you've got to ship that game, you've got all the logistic stuff of that game, you've got to manage the pledge manager, you've got to market it, You've got to, so I mean, there's all sorts of stuff if you want to do a Kickstarter to consider when you're going into it. You're not just making a game at that point, you are a publishing company. You are someone who is actively making this game. And honestly, it's going to be very difficult to do it alone. So if you've got a team around you, that's going to make it significantly easier. So like us, there aren't very many of us, but there's enough of us to where we're not doing this whole thing alone. We couldn't. We couldn't do it. So that's something to really consider too. Are you wanting to just make a game, or you want to make a company? And that's something to really strongly consider. So hopefully that helps a little bit too. Now, I mean, sure, for a smaller game, you can absolutely self-publish it. But if you're getting into a bigger game, I guess it also depends a little bit on scale, right? So if you're looking at a really huge game, that's going to be super difficult to pull off on your own. You're going to have artists, you're going to have writers, you're going to have all sorts of stuff to make that game happen. So the one big problem with the traditional publishing route is getting it in front of people too. So getting in front of the people who can make your game happen, right? Because a lot of companies get a lot of prototypes, especially the bigger companies. And a lot of companies are full up on their schedule. So that's something to consider too, is, you have to work to get your game in front of folks, and you have to make something that's special enough for them to take interest in. And it's the same with writing, it's the same with whatever. You have to have something that's special enough for folks to take interest in, or they just won't do it, right? So that's something to consider too when going the traditional publishing route. So if it's a really tiny game, that can be much easier to Kickstarter. You're not going to make, I think people would be shocked how much of the $1 million Kickstarters, how much money people actually get from those $1 million Kickstarters. The number is very small, right? So we are fortunate enough to, with our small team, be able to support ourselves with this game, or with our company and with our games now. But it can be tough to get to that point. So all things to consider when you're making a game. And it's good to have some of these goals in mind, but it's also good to just make the game for the sheer pleasure of making the game, and for the players that you're going to have play it, even if it's only 10 players or 20 players or whatever. So hopefully that helped a little bit there. And I fear I might have gone off on a rant. Spoilers, Russ! Spoilers! Anyways. Oh, Adam. So Adam is saying, I'm a high school teacher and I do a board game unit as a way of teaching the design process and project management. Any advice for my students? Your class is awesome, Adam. I want to be in your class. Boy, just don't give for your students. I'd say just don't give up on it. If you've got an idea that you just want to make happen, keep pushing for it and keep making that happen. And just, really working to flesh that out, and try to build a team with yourself. Making board games by yourself can be hard. Well, just like video games, just like a lot of artistic endeavors, it can be tough to do it all by yourself. So making that team around yourself and getting in that group could be very useful for anyone wanting to make a board game. Sure, you can design the game yourself. You absolutely can. A lot of people design the game yourself. But then you've got to have the artists. You've got to have the developers. You've got to have the play testers. So there's a lot that goes into making that game. So hopefully that helped answer that question. I'm not positive it did. What do you mean, Russ? He killed plenty of people in the book. I mean, you're not wrong, Phil. um, which platform would you like to use after Kickstarter? GameFound is supposed to be free now. So Clash of Doom, yeah, GameFound. So as far as an actual platform, GameFound's the only other option at this point, really. I mean, Indiegogo's there, but like I said before, Indiegogo is almost exclusively electronic projects, and it's hard to get a project seen by a lot of people, especially board game stuff. It's just not really where the board game scene is. So I think GameFound could potentially be the next rival to Kickstarter. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what Awaken Realms does there and how it goes. So. Okay, good. I'm glad that helped you, Antar. I just saw your top advice. Thanks. So, good. Glad to hear that. I hope it did. He has ways to bring people back. I have so many ways to bring people back. You're right, Russ. Probably so he can kill them off again. Yes, you're absolutely right as well, Phil. One other thing I need to bring up. When demoing, I'm in Discord server for TTS where you can find players for games. I've demoed a bunch of TF to random people I've met there. Oh, cool. Yeah, thanks, Mike. So is that the one that oh goodness, who was it who made that? There was a backer who made a Discord server recently. You're in the Discord server for TTS, so I'm sure that's probably the one you're talking about. Yeah. Okay, so Stefanos, one question for me as well. I absolutely love the artwork of the game. Should we expect to see the same artwork posted on the updates of the cards of the final product? Yes, that is the same artwork that is in the cards, Stefanos. Those are pulled directly from cards, basically. If they're some of the art that's just square, that's pretty much you're getting exactly what's on the cards. For some of the more rectangular art, some of that is cropped to fit on the cards, except for on the foil epics, which a lot of the wider or the longer art is on the foil epics. So you get that bigger art on the foil epics, and then you also would get like the image for the Fable herself. That would be in a variety of different places. So, yes, so that is the stuff from the final product. Absolutely. You just rage quit. Well, oh well. I mean, it's not a game for everyone. No game's a game for everyone. So, to each their own. And everyone is more than welcome to have their opinions there. So I heard the Little Mermaid was criticized somewhere on Kickstarter. Yeah, I mean, so we did make a couple of small changes to Little Mermaid, Michael, but they were very small. Because we kind of came to that conclusion ourselves is, chances are you're probably not going to back our game anyways. I mean, a lot of people are okay with violence, even if they're not okay with, how some characters look or whatever. But yeah, that's just kind of what we came to too. So we did make a couple small tweaks on her, but they were very small, like 99 point. Like I said in the comics, 99.9% of the art is what it was originally. So. Like some people have wanted like the original art deck or something like that. It doesn't exist, right? So there's very little art that was actually changed, and the art in the updates is what you will get in the final game. Heard about GameFound. Do you consider to move away? So I think we talked about that a little bit. But if you have more questions about GameFound, sure, send me a message. But I don't know that I have much more in depth to say about it there either. We need DM and Dom short stories for Halloween. Oh, that would be cool, Russ. I don't know if it's going to happen, but let me see what I can do. I hope one man's opinion not spoil game for Saul. It won't, Viper. It won't. Um, I mean, at this point, the art is what it is, and you're going to like it. You're not going to like it, and that's fine. You don't have to like it. I mean, there's no hurt feelings. I totally understand. Um, Thoughts on a Donna Madness, Deep Madness RPG? Alan, that's a great question. We discussed that a little bit earlier. It's something I would absolutely love to see happen. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I would love to see it. um, uh, Deep Madness 3, the madness comes to the surface. Well, thanks, Dos De La Rosa. Thanks so much for stopping by and for visiting with us. It's been a pleasure. Um, I don't know, Michael. I haven't actually had a chance to get into the Discord yet, but I'll check it out and see. Um, yes, Stefanos, I agree. The foil epics are going to be super sweet. um, Drop mustaches and hats on everyone. Problem solved. Marquis de saying, I want more lore and books than game. Well, I take that as a compliment. Thank you, Marquis. Thank you. I appreciate that. I suspect there will still be more games than books and lore, but though there is an awful lot of books and lore in Dawn of Madness, so there you go. But yes, I would love to expand on the lore and the books for all of our stuff. So it was posted on Facebook, Michael, and honestly, we started getting some negativity from it, so we pulled the post down. And I think that's where a lot of the controversy came from. But I mean, the original art is very little different from the revised art. You're really not missing much. But yes, it was posted on Facebook, and we started getting a bunch of snide comments from people, and we didn't want to have there be an opportunity for a big fight to start over this. So because it's not worth it, right? Thanks, Seth. Thanks for being here, my friend. Oh, and I will get back to your email soon. I promise. But thanks so much for being here. How have you done nearly 2 hours and 30 minutes without a drink? That's a great question, Russ. I will admit my throat is starting to get a little bit worn out, but yeah, we'll stop soon. We'll stop soon. So hopefully I answered your question on that, Michael. It just the art didn't change much at all. We didn't want to allow this fight to start over the game. It's not what we want to do. What non-Diemension games are you loving the most right now? What other games do you play? So same thing. Okay. Let's see. What have I been playing? I've been playing lots of. Oh, shoot! Why can't I think of anything? Why is nothing coming to mind? I have lots of games I've been wanting to play. I've been wanting to play Planning an Apocalypse, and I just gotta. Oh man, it's really been wanting to play more than actually getting to play. I think. I guess that kind of sucks, but it's also true. I've been wanting to do Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion, and there's a, a bunch of them. So one I did do recently, it's so light, it's completely off the wall. There is a Godzilla game made by Funko, of all companies. Apparently they're a big board game company now, and apparently their games aren't bad. So like this Godzilla game, it's like $20 or $30 at Target, and it's actually a lot of fun. It gets that good fighting the giant kaijus and destroying the cities and that sort of stuff vibe. So that's one I have been playing recently. But unfortunately, I've yeah, I've got a huge list of games I want to play, but it's been pretty busy recently, so I haven't had much of a chance. But yeah, sorry for the not much of an answer there. It's not a very good answer. uh, put original LM art in the art book. We'll see, Michael. I don't know. Like I said, it's so similar. It's hardly even worth mentioning. Is it possible to make a game and story where the player is transforming into something else and becoming crazy and losing their mind? A game where the game is our private reality. Well, I mean, that's kind of what happens in Dawn of Madness, Marquis. um, if we get him drinking, we might get more spoilers. You never know, guys. You never know. Okay, fine. I actually do have a drink over here. There we go. Not sure it'll give me more spoilers, though. Yeah, so like I said, Critical Strike, you're asking for a Pledge Manager add-on of original art deck of cards. It doesn't exist. Like, there are seriously like 2 or 3 images that were changed, and they were barely changed. So it's not worth it. It's not worth you spending money on, and honestly, it's not worth us making it. So, oh, Michael, thank you for the heads up. I must have forgotten to do that. It was pretty late when I was posting the Dorothy update, so that's probably why. So yes, I will get on that. Thanks for the heads up. Russ, talking about don't have time to play games. I have lots to write. That's kind of true. It's sad, but it's kind of true. Oh, what about having the art book as a digital PDF? Michael, actually, we tend to release our stuff as digital PDFs, so that's definitely a possibility. I could see that happening. So who knows? But chances are probably pretty good. Oh, you could play Gloomhaven on TTS? Really? Man, I am missing out. I have not played TTS nearly enough. Yeah, I'm missing out on that. Oh yeah, so much Dom writing. Yeah. Yes, Godzilla Tokyo Clash. That's it. Oh, minis! You guys want minis? Sure, let's do that before I forget. Byron drinks blood. Everyone suspected I was a vampire when I stayed up all night. Okay, so these, first of all, these are just 3D prints that I printed off myself. They are largely unfinished, so they're kind of rough. Okay, guys. But hey, why not? Let's go for it. So here's Snow White. Let's see if I can get to focus. And often my camera doesn't focus real well, but so Snow White there. Here is Mulan. And like I said, these are just 3D prints I've made. They're not what you will be getting in the final product. And with 3D prints, you always get some problems. Like Mulan's little saber thing is actually like twice that length. But, yeah. So there's Mulan there. No spoilers yet. Yeah, you really didn't miss much Critical Strike. It's not going back to the cards. It's just yeah, it's not really worth it. So, anyways, okay. So here is Red Riding Hood. Hope you guys can see her. Okay. Red Riding Hood. I really love this sculpt because she's jetting into the air on these jetpacks built into the back of her legs while firing this giant Gatling gun at her cloak, or her cloak billowing out the back there. So yeah, I really like Red Riding Hood. Okay, so this one I actually think changed in the final sculpt. How about Mina Harker? Oh, that's an interesting idea. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Okay, so this one, the base on this one's kind of messed up. But so this is Scheherazade. But Scheherazade's is kind of interesting because I think they actually changed this. So like the early one I had this little guy on the front here. I don't know that that's actually on the final one. But she is holding like a chess piece or something in her hand there. So this is one that I really like, that one. Yes, that exactly, Stephanos. The sculptor did a really good job on these. And Dorothy looks, she's probably the plainest of them all, but honestly, Dorothy just doesn't need anything more. Like she's just such a badass. Her arm is coming apart a little bit there, and this is based obviously off of her main art. But so that's Dorothy. What a creep. So okay, so here's Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty, if you look down there, she is actually levitating off the ground. So her feet aren't even on the ground. All that's on the ground is like her outfit and her restraints that have come off of her. So I really like this one. This one is very cool. But I saved my favorite for last, which is Little Mermaid. She's chilling there on her tentacle. I don't have Alice printed yet, and I did a Match Girl, but the print kind of failed. It didn't print the whole thing, so I'm going to have to redo that one. I guess I can show you guys the this isn't perfect, but what's cool here actually is that you can see her match right there actually burning. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera or not, but she has it. She actually has the match in her hand, so that's kind of cool. So anyways, that's some of the minis there, at least my poor 3D prints of them. So yeah, Match Girl is from a story by Hans Christian Andersen. It's actually it's kind of a sad story. Oh, did I show you guys Kaguya? I don't know if I did. Here's Kaguya. So yeah, she's from a Hans Christian Andersen story, actually just like Little Mermaid was. They were both Hans Christian Andersen characters. So they were she was what was I saying? Hans Christian Andersen. Yeah, Match Girl. So it's actually a really sad little short story about a little girl who was trying to sell matches out in the cold winter night, and it gets so cold, and she's just out there on her own, and so she starts lighting her last book of matches and imagining or wishing for these great things, or these wonderful family things, and heat and warmth and all sorts of stuff, and then in the end she dies. It's a very well written story. Super bummer. So that's what Match Girl's from. Red needs a wolf pet as alternate cloak. But the wolf is inside her, Russ. That's the whole deal. It's like a part of her. Like she has some of her art where like her head is just like a metal wolf's head. So yeah, the wolf is actually inside her, so that probably wouldn't work. Would there be a digital version of Dawn of Madness or Deep Madness, or just a? I don't know. I don't know Clash of Doom. So I mean, that's something we could certainly look at. I know that there's an uh, off that someone just made one, but I don't know if it's any good for Deep Madness specifically. Um, but a digital version, I think that could be very interesting. It's something we could look into. It's not something currently in the works, but it is something we could look into. Um, okay, let's see here. Yeah, Magical is the status story of them all. She really does. She gets a bum deal. Well, okay, so actually, Little Mermaid gets a really bum deal in the original story too. She turns into sea foam and just drifts away on top of the sea. But uh, yeah, they're both. Hans Christian Andersen, he's a fantastic writer, but he wrote some dark stuff, very sad stuff. Um, Well, thanks, Slipdrosena. Now, Slipdrosena, this wouldn't be Pedro Sena, would it? If it is, hey, Pedro. And if not, hey, Slipdro. Anyways, thanks. Appreciate it. Glad you enjoyed the live feed. Um, do we make games that don't involve tentacles? Where would the fun be in that, Phil? Where would the fun be in that? Tentacles are awesome. So no, the answer is no. Maybe. No, I'm not going to say Celestials free of tentacles. I'm not going to say it. Yeah, the story scarred you when you were 6. I totally believe that, Stefanos. Do we have any rights problems with this? No, we do not. And the reason for that being that none of the characters are copywritten. They're all in public domain. So, like, that's a question that's been yeah, Pedro, man, it's great to see you, buddy. Hey, so I got so Pedro is one of our best artists. Okay, so guys, um, if you loved the art in Deep Madness and Donna Madness, chances are you owe a deep debt of thanks to Pedro. So Pedro just sent me some art prints recently, and I just got them in the mail. So here's one from Pedro, and these are all Deep Madness ones. Here's my Devourer of Worlds from Pedro, and he also sent me this one, which is an original that I had not seen before. It's a pretty stinking sweet stuff. You all should check him out on Facebook and wherever Pedro prints can be sold. So, anyways, yes. I'm answering these questions 10 minutes before he does. Yeah, exactly, Michael. That's exactly right. So okay. So anyways, so your question though, Pedro. So asking about the rights. So they're all in the common domain. So none of them are owned by Disney. None of them are owned by anybody. Most of them are the original stories for them are over 100 years old. So yeah, there's no problems with them. But it is a question that's come up several times. There are many wolves in the world that could be killed for her cloak. Byron liking dark and death-filled stories. No shock there. Yeah. Pedro does some amazing stuff. So, yes, I finally got it. It took a while to get here, Pedro. I think there was some. Yes, it took its sweet time getting across the ocean, but it got here. So thank you so much for sending those. I really appreciate it. um, but yeah, so the devourer waits on the other side. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yep, exactly. Okay, so guys, I think we've waited long enough. So we are, and you have patiently waited for some spoiler stuff. So I'll go ahead and give that to you, and then we'll wrap it up for now. I think. Um, but we are, and actually, I think Pedro might be working on this. I don't know, but I could be wrong. But oh, where am I at? Okay, well, we'll get into that first. Then I'll get into spoilers. I am in Washington State, the U.S. So way up in the northwest corner there. Oh, you're in California. Yeah, so you're not too far down from me then, Michael. Hi. Yes, so Nurse Ruben. So Celestial is. I have answered this a couple times, so I'll just do it really briefly. So it's going to be a story-driven. Yes, same time zone. It's going to be a story-driven skirmish game for probably 1 to 2 players. The last I heard, it was 1 to 2 players. It might end up going more than that, but that was the last I heard. It's soloable, it's co-op, and I believe they're also working on PvP for it. So hopefully that helps a little bit there. And the story is very interesting. As someone into stories, the story is very interesting. Okay, so spoilers. So this won't mean as much to some of you as it will to, say, Russ, and I think Phil. I think Phil said he had read it. But we are currently working on some additional content that could be seen as a what's a good word for it? To go alongside Shattered Seas. And I don't know how much I can really say apart from that at this point, but you will see more in the next Deep Madness reprint. And our ultimate goal is to do a game with the Tower World. That won't mean much to many people yet, but once you've read the book, it will. So yeah, so that's something that's in the works. Are there any more planned Celestial Genesis large-scale models planned? I've almost collected them all. Well, thank you for almost collecting them all there, stupid brush liquor. Your name is great. I don't know. So there are tons of models that could be in that line. It's just a matter of will they be released, or if they'll just go into the actual Celestial game. I don't have the answer for that at this point. I think if enough people wanted them, they could be maybe. But honestly, the Celestial Genesis range has had a very active following, but not necessarily a big following. So I don't know about that. But anyway, so yes. To do with the Tower Russ, it's going to be kind of like well, we'll have to see. I'm not even sure how much of it's going to make it into this Kickstarter, because this could be something that's even a little bit further down the line, because we still really need to focus on Donna Madness, and we're really keeping our laser sights on that. But this is the Bearded Goblin. Okay, gotcha. Oh, that's funny. But yeah, so there's going to be a lot of the things from chat. Okay, so my one stipulation was, they're like, okay, so if we did like a Tower World standalone game type thing. What would we, what would you think of that? And I said, my one stipulation is there has to be the, oh shoot, I can't even remember what I called it now. The Kraken Centipede. There has to be a Kraken Centipede. So, a Kraken Centipede is coming. Yes, I was the one you were talking to on IG. Stupid brush licker. Sorry. I feel like I'm insulting you every time I say your name. Oh, that's terrible. But yes, I was the one you were talking to on Instagram. You're right. Well, thanks for being here, Viper. I appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, 2 a.m. Yeah, go to bed, man. Thanks for being here. Have a great night. The Kraken Centipede is one of my my favorite monsters that I've ever come up with. I really love it. And people will get to see that once they read the book. Yeah, there's a ton to the tower that was never explored in the book, Russ. So, I mean, there is a lot of potential stuff there. So, we'll see. I mean, and I can't, promise this necessarily either, because like I said, it's still very early in development, and it might not even come in the next Kickstarter. This might be or we might have the minis in the next Kickstarter, like the monsters and the investigators and that sort of thing, but then do the rest later on. So we'll see. But it is something that we really want to happen. Okay, so Jet Boy is asking, don't know if this was asked already, will there be a FAQ coming out with the release or sometime after for Twisted Fables? Are you specifically thinking campaign things, Jet, or are you thinking gameplay stuff? If gameplay stuff, I think that could definitely be doable. If campaign stuff, let me know, and maybe we can get that up right away. But in either case, I'm sure there will be a FAQ. Yes, I agree, Russ. I agree. You definitely changed the book significantly for the better. Definitely. So, okay, well, Jet Boy, so yeah, I see no reason why there couldn't be a FAQ. I don't know if it will be printed with the game, but there'll definitely be a FAQ online, or, on Board Game Geek, or in an update, or something like that. I'm sure of it. So, you bet. Okay, guys. Well, you know what? We've been going for a stinking long time. World building or world breaking. I mean, we did a bit of both, Phil. But anyways, so I think we'll probably wrap it up, unless anyone has any last second questions they want to ask. If so, feel free to yeah. Yes. William/Bill/Jeff. I just saw your comment here. Yes. I really, really love the Kraken Centipede. Okay, so one last question here, unless there's another one after this, in which case I'll probably answer that one too. Wife and kids just got home. Time to prepare dinner. Thanks for stopping by, stupid brush licker. And I apologize for insulting you every time I say your name. But thanks for stopping by and hanging out with us. It's been a blast. Okay, so Nurse Ruben, how did I start working at Diemension Games? Funny story. I've always been a sucker for monsters and for tentacles. And I saw the guys posting on Facebook some of their monsters. I believe specifically it started off with this guy. He was one of the first ones that I saw and was really attracted to there. on Facebook, and so um, uh, and then I saw some of their written content, and I sent them a message and said, "Hey guys, I love what you're doing, but you could use some help with your writing." And they said, "Yes, we agree." So here I am. Long story short, um, what's the name of your fairy tale game going to be? Twisted Fables. You should check it out. It's on Kickstarter right now. Uh, so, yes. So, oh yeah, Russ, definitely. I mean, you were a huge help on Shattered Sea, so I'm sure I will be picking your braid in the future. Um, but yes, so thanks guys for being here, and thanks for hanging out with me today. And I'm gonna try to start doing these more often, actually. So not just during campaigns or whatever, but I'm gonna start trying to do them like on a monthly or bi-monthly basis or something like that. So we're gonna have more chances to hang out and do stuff. We might do another live stream before the campaign ends. Um, we'll see. We're kind of running short on time, but maybe like on the last day or something, we'll do another live stream for Twisted Fables. But then after that, we'll have more live streams as well. So keep an eye out for those. Um, oh, well, hey, well, thanks for stopping by, Gargoyles. That's great to have you here. And yeah, check it out. It's very different from Deep Madness, but it's still got a lot of the Dimension Games personality in it. So, all right, guys. Well, I think that's it for me for today. So thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me for all this time. And as usual, I went much longer than I think we anticipated. But um, so we will talk with you guys next